How's it going, Laser Bruces? I'm Bobby Sixkilla and welcome back to Ever 17. Now we finally finished Sora's story and we are heading into Tsugumi's story, which is going to have a lot of similarities because we're running the Takeshi line once again. So there will be lots of skipping. We're only going to be bringing you back for Tsugumi specific stuff, so probably won't make a lot of sense unless you've watched the Sora arc beforehand. So watch that first, then watch this, because we're only going to be bringing you back for that stuff. So we'll probably get this done in a couple of episodes. But without further ado, let's jump in and I will bring you back as soon as we come across new dialogue that we need to do. Alright, so we are here with Tsugumi. When we first meet her, this time we're going to say, just exactly who are you? Did I do something wrong? Yes, you did. Just now. Just now? He was getting more and more confused. I mean, I don't want you to get in the way, that's all. Get in the way of what? Jolting suddenly, the elevator stopped. Did she sabotage this place? He looked at the ceiling. The lights flickered unsteadily. What was that? It couldn't be. It couldn't be. Couldn't be what? Couldn't be? He wondered if something had gone terribly wrong. It was strange. Very strange. Alright, now we're with Sora and Tsugumi, but we haven't got anyone else in the party. Yet. That's not important right now. No, relax, yeah. Let's all relax. I'm glad to be safe, but more important than that right now is... Who are you guys? The chick in black ran like something bionic. When the glass broke, that attendant was right next to her. She took off like at warp speed. What's up with that? And don't tell me this is part of the theme park's atmosphere. Neither of them tried to answer. The fish on the floor was still jumping around. I'm really sorry. Alright, so we pretty much just have to pick all the Tsugumi options, sorry. And we got a whole bunch of them coming up right now, so where did she go? Where the heck did Tsugumi go anyway? Just before the hatch was closed, she had suddenly started talking. I'm leaving. Hey, where are you going? There's a place that I just realized I need to go. Where? Treatment is more urgent than that. I don't need it. Tsugumi, that's irresponsible and selfish. I can't stay cooped up in this cramped place. Well, I won't go off escaping alone, so just take it easy. That's not the point. To be blunt, I don't have any patience for you. Any of you. Tsugumi ignored you and me and went off somewhere. Sora had reported to us that she was somewhere on the floor and safe. But it still bothered me a bit. But it was Tsugumi after all. I'm sure she'd probably be back in a little while saying something else. That's what I thought, but nearly 2 hours had passed. I'll wait just a little bit longer. Even as I thought that, my eyelids got heavier and heavier. But still, even so, today really was an eventful day. Alright, this time we're going to go look for Tsugumi. I was going to say Kasumi. Going to look for Tsugumi instead of seeing Sora in the control room. I'd like to see Sora after that. I took their sandwiches in hand and left the room. Hey, Tsugumi. I called it as I walked the corridors at random. Chow time! And she wasn't the type to answer to that. Finally, at the end of the corridor I spied Tsugumi. Oh, there she is. What are you doing here? Himmel was written on the door. Tsugumi wasn't really doing anything, she just stood in front of the door. Nothing. It's none of your business. None of my business, huh? Sure, whatever. What are you doing here? This. I held out one of the chicken sandwiches to Tsugumi. What's this? Breakfast. You're not gonna eat? Tsugumi tilted her head a little and stared at the sandwich. If you don't want it, I'll give it to you. I didn't say I don't want it. Tsugumi indifferently looked at the sandwich, took the sandwich from me. Good. I went to a lot of pain to make that. If you said you didn't want it, I don't know what I'd... Tsugumi began to walk away without listening to what as I was talking. Hey, hold on a second. I suddenly grabbed Tsugumi's shoulder. You should at least say thanks. Tsugumi didn't try and turn around. She shook my hand off her shoulder effortlessly. She let out an annoyed sigh. Don't touch me. Tsugumi said it in a low voice without turning around. My shrugged off hand floated in the air with nowhere to go. Don't touch me. Tsugumi repeated the same words again and silently started walking away. Down the water-covered floor of the corridor. Rings rippled out slowly from where Tsugumi was stepping as she walked. Just then, the lights in the corridor began to flicker uneasy. I instinctively glanced up at the ceiling. A dull, growl-like sound shook the floor. What? What is happening? It couldn't be. Tiny waves formed and the water pooled on the floor. The walls and ceiling trembled slightly, metal screeching on metal. I think we can skip again. Not quite. I can see Tsugumi's back down the corridor. The lights clicked and flickered. Tsugumi turned and looked back at me, as if she wanted to say something to me. Darkness blanketed us. The vibrations and sound died away. Only an eerie silence enveloped us. Only the emergency lights slowly showed weakly. Is this a blackout? Tsugumi? I kicked up water as I ran. I ran to where Tsugumi was shouting. Tsugumi, it's a blackout! A blackout! I know. What should we do? Why are you asking me? Oh yeah, right. So what should we do? I know. First we should go to where everyone is. We cut through a nearby door and came out in front of the kiosk. You wasn't there. I sprinted to the room next door. There's no sign of anyone there either. I scanned the area. My eyes weren't used to the darkness yet, and I couldn't see into the corners of the room. Hey, Coco, kid, you! The echo of my voice was swallowed, vanishing in the darkness. Where could they have gone? My eyes stopped on the bench. At the top of the tray I'd left there was one chicken sandwich remaining. I still had one of the sandwiches in my hand. The emergency didn't seem to faze Tsugumi, who was stuffing her face with the sandwich I'd given her. Hey, this... Tsugumi handed me something. It was a pulled up sandwich wrapper. It needs to be thrown away. Saying that, Tsugumi left the room. Jeez, I can't believe that girl. I took the crumpled up wrapper and put it on the tray, and soon followed after Tsugumi. In front of the control room, in the far darkness, I could just make out three familiar outlines. Hey, Takeshi. Tsugumi. Splashing through the water, the three of them walked over. Hey, have you seen Sora? I looked at Tsugumi. She shook her head. Wasn't she in the control room? It's empty now. You sure? Let's check. I pushed the button next to the door, but the button remained lifeless. Hey, how do you open this? Does the electricity have to be on? Oh, there's an emergency mechanism for opening the door near the bottom of it. Pulling the lever, I pushed the door open. And we're off. Taking the flashlight, I turned it on and stepped into the room. A white circle of light appeared on the wall. Alright, this time we're going to help Tsugumi instead of looking for Sora first. With fixing the electricity, obviously. Alright, I'll go with you. I stared back in Tsugumi's eyes. I didn't think about going against her. Tsugumi nodded. Okay, what about Coco? I got another job I want Coco to do. Another job? What's that? I want you to tell you and the kid what I just told you. I mean, go tell them that Takeshi and I are going to the generator room. Oh, that. Roger, 10 for that. Coco clicked her heels together and gave a kind of salute. Alright, well, we're back at the part just after Tsugumi gets injured by the falling debris in the warehouse room. This time we're going to stick around with her instead of leaving with Sora. Don't go. Actually, I'm going to stay here a little bit longer if you don't mind. It isn't often that you get to see Tsugumi being so still and docile. Really? Yeah. Can't you talk to me here? Now you got me wondering what the big secret is. Takeshi, I can't talk to you here because it's confidential. Alright, that makes sense. Let's see. Never mind. It's not a big deal. We can discuss it later. Ah, if you excuse me then. Sora left smiling. I turned my attention again to Tsugumi's sleeping face. She didn't say anything. Of course, it was normal for Tsugumi not to talk about herself, but now she wasn't saying anything at all. I wanted to hear something, as soon as possible. Anything, I didn't care, I just want to hear Tsugumi's voice again. I began to believe that I could bear even her harshest, most cutting words. That's every word that comes out of her face. What? I turned my head, sure I'd been mistaken. The lift to the decompression chamber was moving on its own. Sure enough, it was moving. I ran over and peered into the square hole where the lift was. The lift had gone down, then stopped. That's strange. I pushed a button to call the lift and jumped in. I would go down to the decompression chamber. No one was in the room. Was the lift malfunctioning? I reached out my hand to push the button to take me back up. In that second, something crossed my line of vision. The sound of tiny footsteps was growing fainter. Very tiny. I could tell that they were running through the emergency corridor. I turned into the corridor and followed the sound. I didn't think they were human footsteps. Maybe it's Fifi? It's the hamster thing! But if Fifi had separated from Coco, he surely wouldn't be in a place like this. I sensed the owner of the footsteps was something smaller. They seemed to be running with quite some momentum, sometimes even crashing into walls. It was in a desperate hurry. In any case, it was an animal of some kind. But what is it? It bothered me that it had run out of the infirmary. The footsteps turned off at the corridor and turned to a dead end. I'd followed right up until that point, but somehow I lost it. Maybe it fell down the stairs along the corridor or climbed into a duct and jumped down a floor. That clever little... Maybe it was a rat. Could be. It would be so strange for Lamu to have rats. In which case... This is stupid. Why the hell am I doing chasing after a rat? Scratching my head, I retraced my steps. Before I got back to the lift, I glanced back into the decompression chamber and noticed for the first time that the bed was looking dirty. Hey, who ate their dinner here? There were small breadcrumbs on the bed. Hey, you. Yeah? I got out of the lift and stomped over to where you and the kid were still in the middle of their repair efforts. Who was eating bread in the decompression chamber? Huh? What are you talking about? You frowned and turned the hand holding the screwdriver toward me. How would I know? I don't know either. The kid had an insulation tape wrapped around his fingers. Takeshi, you sure it wasn't you? Why would it be me if I'm the one asking about it? I mean, it doesn't really matter who it was, but don't you think we'd better be a little more careful? Careful of what? I think there's a rat in here just now. If we leave food lying around, it might get eaten. Oh, in that case, I guess I should be more careful. We got plenty of food in the kiosk for now, but it would be awful if it was broken into. Do you think we should try and catch it? I don't think we need to go that far. Hey kid, you don't happen to know how to make a rat trap, do you? Who knows? I don't really know if I know how or not. The kid laughed and shrugged his shoulders exaggeratedly. And because of that, I couldn't forgive her. Bam, I slammed my fist on the bed violently. Tsugumi, you stupid little... How dare you say that so lightly? I looked straight at her and screamed. When you die, it's game over. You understand that, right? Have you forgotten about us? What we're facing here? Obviously, she's expressed her desire to die to us again. Probably should have mentioned that. Now it was me glaring at Tsugumi. It wasn't as if she'd actually done something wrong, but that didn't mean I could forgive her for saying that. Huh. She snorted. You don't understand, Takeshi. Life is a nightmare. This world is littered with ugliness. Cut your poetic garbage. Again, I pummeled the bed with my fists. Life is the most important thing in this world. It's a miracle, life is. You're wrong, this is no miracle. In this ever-expanding universe, continuing infinitely, this phenomenon called life is no miracle. It's unnatural. And it's an accident that we awoke in this disgusting world. Wrong, you're wrong, Tsugumi. I hesitated for a moment. You're unbelievably wrong. Where am I wrong? Come on, tell me where I'm mistaken. All emotion left her face. She spoke plainly and precisely. Life is just a cluster of empty desires. We build our lives on the corpses of others. We kill cows, pigs, birds, fish and plants. And if we don't, we die. Our appetites are whetted by the slaughtering of others. Our desires for sleep only proves our laziness. Our sexual desires are expressed through obscenity and sin. All the things that keep us alive, the things that drive us, are filthy. We can't live without them. There is no such thing as a life of purity. Ultimately, for the moment we are born, we are already corrupted. And that's why you want to die? Yes. I became quiet, contemplating what Tsugumi had said. This time it was me laughing. I thought you were smarter than that, but I guess I overrated you. You do have a point, and I think you're partly right. I'll admit it. In order for us to live, it's true that we must commit some atrocities. Sometimes people do terrible, despicable things, but do you really think living is a sin? Thinking life is a sin is the result of arrogant values. Do you really think that it's a crime for a bird to snatch fruit from a tree? Do you? Does a tiger feel guilt for eating its prey? Is it really a terrible thing to join together and create new life? Everything that is necessary to continue living is not only right, I believe it is sacred. The birds, the tigers, the ants, even the grass, they all work so hard to live. It's a beautiful thing. And to love the lives of others is just as important as loving yourself. You have to realize that, don't you? That's ridiculous. Tsugumi frowned. Stop pretending to be so cold. I wanted to kick the bed over, yet I resisted somehow. Alright, so why'd you protect Coco? Why'd you sacrifice yourself to save Coco? I don't know exactly what happened back there, but I do know that you're avoiding the truth. You were desperately trying to deny life. Everyone's desires are born out of life. You only wish to believe that they're wrong to prove your selfish point. You are holding on obstinately, living while all you do is die. Your logic is completely backwards. Life should be unconditionally embraced. Everyone lives for the sake of living. By definition, living beings must have life. If love is beautiful, then so is life. You don't understand a thing. Yeah, I don't understand. We've known each other for what, just 3 days? I don't know a thing about you. But I know for sure that what I'm saying is 100% true. So, don't say that you want to die. I won't let you say it. I bit my lip as I stared at Tsugumi. I told Tsugumi exactly how I felt. No holding back, no regrets. I don't want her to say it anymore. I didn't even want her to say... didn't even want to have to say those things. We survive for a reason, Tsugumi. Don't say you want to throw that away. Tsugumi let all her tension slip from her shoulders. Her eyes suddenly lit up. Yeah, I get it. What, had I finally gotten through to her? I couldn't help but smile. A smile appeared on her lips. She glanced up at me and muttered something. I understand perfectly. You're a total hypocrite. Lovely. Takeshi, what happened? Where is Tsugumi? Sora was waiting just outside the door with a worried expression on her face. She's alive. Really? But she wishes she were dead. Takeshi, did she really tell you that? Yep, it's true. It's unfortunate, but she didn't get what she wanted. Death. But you don't have to... Sora's voice quivered as she spoke. You know, I should never have helped you... I should never have even helped save... Takeshi, please stop this. You should not say things like that. It's awful. I'm so disappointed in you. I'm sorry. Now you're upset, Sora. I'm not myself right now. I'm heading back to bed, even though I know I can't sleep. I raised my hand weakly and parted with Sora. Sora stood by the entrance of the medical room, frozen without movement. I went to see Tsugumi. I told the truth. Tsugumi? I was told to take a walk when Sora came up and told me that Tsugumi had woken up. I didn't want her to start wandering around and hurt herself, so I rushed right over to the infirmary. I was at it. Actually, I guess I did hear pretty much the same thing from Sora, how Tsugumi woke up. What? So you knew all along? Sorry, I just thought I'd give you a hard time. Man, but you should have called us too. You're right, I wasn't thinking. Well, I don't know about you, kid, but you was dead to the world. I didn't figure it'd be any good to try and wake you guys up. Hey! No one seemed inclined to question me further, so that solved that. Everyone milled around the rest area. I may have hurt Sora's feelings. She always smiled and said she didn't mind, but what would I say when I saw her? Don't get me wrong. I just don't want to watch you pull this hypocritical stunt is all. I don't want to see you kill yourself because you believe this hypocrisy. How can you say that? That's not a nice thing to say. I laughed at her as I loosened my limbs and body. I'll be fine, you go back to the security office. What? When I get through the other side, you can tell me where the hamster is. You won't be able to locate him without MMIH, will we? So unless someone who can operate MMIH stays behind, it won't work. But, okay then, it's settled. I finished warming up and adjusted the voice converter in my ear. Sora told me that the earphone was pressure resistant, but hadn't said anything about whether it was waterproof. See you later. I ruffled Tsugumi's hair and started down the ladder. My toes reached the bottom of the ladder. I let go of the ladder and leapt into the emergency corridor. Wow, it's cold. It was like swimming in ice water. The water here was much colder than the water higher up. I'd greatly miscalculated. That wasn't the only thing I'd miscalculated. Inside the corridor was pitch dark. Inside, I tried to use my PDA backlight. I could see there were parallel walls on either side, and that this part of the corridor was straight. But that's all I could see. I knew nothing of what was beyond that. At that point, my PDA batteries ran out. Oh crap, not using this for a while. There was nothing for it but to grope my way forward. How far have I swum? How much further did I need to go? I had no way of guessing. I didn't even know if I was swimming in the right direction. I just kept swimming in the darkness. It was terrifying. As my breath got tighter, I could feel the fear spreading through my body. I might just die here. As afraid as I was able to consider dying quite calmly. I was caught in the illusion that I was sinking further and further down. The darkness penetrated to my very core. The shadow of death crept through my whole body, eroding my every cell. I can't last much longer. Just as my fear reached its peak, I glimpsed a spot of light. The exit. Was it 30 feet? Or 60 maybe? My vision was cloudy and I couldn't judge the distance. I was reaching my limit. No, I'd probably already exceeded it. The light was shining beyond the darkness. My body was screaming as my cramping fingers stretched out to the light. A little further, just a little further. The light is right there. My hand grabbed the ladder. I wasted no time in fixing the rope on the hook. I pulled myself upwards. I scaled the ladder as quickly as I could and I burst out into the corridor. I breathed deeply in and out. I coughed and spat. I felt like I was going to cough the darkness right out of my lungs. But contrary to my expectations, what erupted from my mouth was the semi-liquid remains of my hot dog. Of course. I was a little cold, but I shook my head to clear it and continued my search for the hamster. The flood doors on either side of the corridor were shut tight. There was only one other door. I went through. Hey, Mr. Hamster. It probably wasn't his name, but never mind. It was better than yelling, Mr. Jungarian. Takeshi, you alright? I heard Tsugumi's voice come through a speaker somewhere in the room. I'm picking up your sound on the monitor. If you can hear me, answer. Oh, okay, Tsugumi, I can hear you. What can you see? The room is pitch dark. I can't see a thing. Either the lights are broken or there's not enough power. My trusty PDA is out of power. I should have brought some fireflies with me. Did you say something? Nothing. If you pick up on the hamster's location, let me know. Okay. Go straight ahead about 10 feet. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Turn right 40 degrees. 40 degrees? What kind of angle was that? Hey, you turn left, not right. Are you sure? The other way? Are you sure you're okay? It was just the wrong direction. I'm fine. Look, I'm facing the right direction now. Oh. Go straight ahead another 12 feet. There's a step there. Be careful. What? How can I be careful in the dark? What? What happened? Takeshi? Takeshi, you alright? Hey, talk to me, Takeshi. Takeshi? It's alright, I'm alive. Can you let me know how high the steps are gonna be? I didn't realize I'd be smashing my knee against it. I'm sorry. Okay, go on. Is Mr. Hamster still here? He hasn't run away? He's still there. Okay, navigate me. Alright. Oh, and I went like that. Alright, I've got you. I successfully trapped the hamster in the plastic bag. I'm on my way back. Wait for me in the pipe room. Alright. I went out into the light of the corridor and checked on the hamster. Okay, he was quiet, but he seemed healthy. I blew more air into the bag and tied the mouth of it shut. Tired as I was, I could get back the way I'd come. I hesitated, but unless I go back, it was all pointless. If I'd followed the rope, I should be able to get back faster than I'd come. I tied the bag to my waist, took a deep breath and jumped in the water. I climbed the pipe ladder and stuck my head out of the hatch. I made it back safely to the area it started from. Honey, I'm home! Tsugumi was waiting beside the hatch. Look what the cat dragged in. Me! Well, here I am, I'm back. Welcome back. I closed the hatch and stood up. I opened the plastic bag at my waist and took out the hamster. Tsugumi grabbed the hamster. Lovingly, she stroked his damp fur. Thank you. Tsugumi whispered her gratitude without looking at me. What's his real name? I looked at the hamster. Now don't laugh. Okay, I won't. You promise? I promise. His name's Charmy. Charmy because he's charming. Charmy? That's cute. What a good name. How cute. That's what I thought. I did my best to stifle my laughter. Hey, you promised not to laugh. I'm not laughing. I tried to keep a straight face, but the corners of my mouth started to twitch. Charmy. Charming, Charmy. Well, Charmy poo, it's din-din time. I could just imagine Tsugumi baby talking to it. Charmy poo. Ah, that's why I didn't want to tell you. Sullen, Tsugumi was red-faced. But she held out the bath towel she'd had behind her back. Oh, thanks. I took the towel and wiped myself down. Whew! I breathed deeply, feeling reborn as I glanced at Tsugumi's face. She was playing with the hamster in her hand, and her cheeks were bright. She looked so happy. It was the first time I'd ever seen her smile. I've been wanting to talk to you. I hope this doesn't go like last time. We're in Qual now, but you'll remember what happened last time. I've been wanting to talk to you. About what? Well, some things I need to say. Things to say? Things I need to let you know. And I figured no one could interrupt us here. It must really be something important. Something serious? Well, yeah, at least for me it is. Having her approach me to talk was unusual. Tsugumi fixed her eyes firmly on mine. Her eyes were serious, with no sign of mischief in them. Whatever the consequences, I had to listen. 12 years ago, in August of 2005, on a summer day, I was infected. I was infected with a virus. Yes, 2005, 12 years ago. I was only 12 at the time. A virus. Yeah. And are you still infected? Yeah. I'm a carrier. A carrier? What? Wait a second. Come on, wait just a second here. You mean to tell me 12 years ago at age 12? That's what I'm saying. 12 years ago at age 12 means your age now is... That's right, I'm 23. I'll be 24 in another 2 months. You see, I was born 24 years ago in July 1993. I scrutinized Tsugumi's face. There was no way she looked 23, but then again, I knew she wasn't lying. We never touched upon the subject of her age, but I had assumed her to be a high school student at the most. 23 years old, I muttered to myself. To think, she was 3 years older than me. Takeshi, where are you? She suddenly changed the topic. What do you mean where? I'm right here. Yeah, but where is here? Oh no. It's gonna go that way again. Back to the skipping. Fingers crossed that we don't die. Oh yeah, she's trying to kill us again. Apologies. Come on, I thought she wouldn't now that we've been nice to her. Whatever. Tsugumi took her hand off my neck. I breathed easier. You see, your existence has no substance. All you are is a concept. A concept? You're just a packet of information. Software. The information written on a CD has no physical body, right? The CD itself is just plastic, hard mass of polycarbonate. But that mass has nothing to do with the information it holds. Information can't have a physical body, it's impossible. Information does not have shape or substance. The embodiment of information only takes place through its application. However, the embodied information itself has no actual body. The essence of information is the information itself. Takeshi, it's the same for you. There is no physical substance to your essence. Instead, the human called Takeshi Kuranari is no more than a concept, information, software. And that essence is realized only through your body, the hardware. That's it. Your body's just the hardware. It's just a device in which the entity of you is embodied. I see. Okay, I understand you perfectly. No, actually, I hardly understand you at all, but if what you say is true, then what? What does that have to do with what you were talking about? 12 years ago, I was infected with a virus. Yeah, you said that. Because of that virus, the virus, it rewrote my genetic code. What? Your genetic code? Cells in people's bodies are replaced daily. They are reborn and then die. Normally, the human body is totally replaced with new cells every 5 years. When I was 12, the cells in my body were infected, and from that moment on, they divided and replaced themselves. 5 years later, all the cells had been replaced. In 5 years, every cell that made up my body had been genetically altered. And when the last of the cells had died, the last trace of my 12-year-old self disappeared. In that moment, the old me died. The old me died, and the new me became a body that never dies. A body that never dies? My immune system and my metabolic rate were remarkably improved. My telomeres began to regenerate themselves. That's right. I'll never grow old and never die. My physical growth stopped at that moment in time. I'll never grow older than 17. Highly improved immune system and increased metabolic efficiency. Telomeres that continue to rejuvenate. Well, if what she said was to be believed, Tsugumi's body would never die on its own. As long as her body had the energy to continue, it would not die. As long as she continued to have the will to live, her body would be sustained forever. Semi-eternal life. But was such a thing even conceivable? The concept of never growing old, never dying, was it possible? Why do living creatures age? Essentially, it is to protect against exhaustion and deterioration of function. The life cycle needs aging so that it can have succession and renewal through subsequent generations. I couldn't help but laugh. That's a good story, but no way. But I guess it's a good joke. Pretty solid. Yeah, I guess you're right. Tsugumi snickered at my words. Yep, it's just a little joke. I thought you might fall for it, but I guess not. What else would you expect, crazy talk like that? Well, Takeshi, I guess you're not so stupid after all. Tsugumi got up slowly. Her disheveled clothes were showing just a peek of her legs, with a glimpse of her sleek thighs, her clean satin skin, and a scar. What the? What's the matter? Takeshi, what are you looking at? Your right thigh at the scar. You want a closer look? Well, yeah, no. Shall I show you? No, really. It's okay. Sure enough, it was a scar. However, it looked like something that had healed years ago. Just a scar where once several stitches closed a wound. And we're skipping again. I think we'll wrap this one up here. I'm not too sure, depending on how long it is after I cut it down. We shall see. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.